Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Steelers Talk with Joe and John. I'm Joe, joined with John Height, and preseason just ended. Steelers play the Bengals in week 1 in I think less than 2 weeks now. So we're coming up on real football, thankfully, because preseason football can obviously be a bore at times. But the biggest question now is who starts at quarterback, Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky? And John, let's get your thoughts on who you think is going to start and who do you think should start.
I mean, Joe, all Steeler fans. I mean, if let's say you polled 100 random Steeler fans outside of Heinz Field, probably say 95 of them at least would say they'd want Kenny Pickett to start Week 1. I think right now Mitch Trubisky is the starter. We've seen in the preseason like he's looked good. He's looked as a serviceable starter as can be. I would not be surprised, and I could see a world where maybe he struggles the first couple weeks of the season. He might have a shorter leash just because Kenny Pickett did play so well. I think better than much of the coaching staff thought he was going to. So I could see Trubisky maybe getting replaced by Pickett maybe by like a week 5 or 6. Let's say the Steelers just start out really bad, which might happen just because there's a lot of question marks with their offensive line. There's questions with Trubisky because, again, the preseason does not mean anything. But I think going into Week 1 Sunday, against the Cincinnati Bengals, it'll be Mitch Trubisky as the starter. Even though I'm sure much of Steeler Nation wants to see their future franchise quarterback, and Kenny Pickett be at the helm.
Yeah, and my bad. I had to change that up last second, but I kind of agree with you on that, and the fact that I think a lot of people want Kenny Pickett to start, but I mean, all indications are pointing to Mitch Trubisky starting, right? I mean, he played a whole quarter in the last preseason game, which was the dress rehearsal game for the team, right? So I don't really see where, I guess, where we can really be like, yeah, Kenny Pickett is going to start because I mean, obviously, Mike Tomlin hasn't announced it yet, but why, if you're doing a dress rehearsal game, why wouldn't you try to, maybe at least give equal playing time for both quarterbacks? And then two, Mitch hasn't done anything to lose the job either. He hasn't played bad at all. He's played pretty well, in my opinion, in all 3 games. So it's like you can't really take the job away from him. And then well, I'd love to see that. I'm torn, right, on who I want to start because on one hand, I really want to see Kenny Pickett play. Like he's the future, so I want to see him play. But at the same time, I don't want his confidence to get killed. The Bengals last season beat up on the Steelers' offensive line, absolutely destroyed it. They play a 4-3, kind of like a hybrid a little bit, and their D line just destroyed our O line. I think that the Steelers would be smart to ease Kenny in once the Steelers offensive line gets better because you don't want to kill his confidence. Like kind of like a who's a quarterback
I have one. Justin Fields, a guy who, like we saw, was getting beat up every single game, just because the Bears' offensive line was not great and he was running for his life. And even though this guy was able to overcome it, even Joe Burrow, like he's obviously been above and beyond, what I think people were expecting right away, and just dealing with such a pitiful Cincinnati Bengals offensive line at first. I know this year they improved it, but he was a guy. I mean, he got hurt because he kept getting beat
towards
up.
ACL.
He tore his ACL, exactly. So, I mean, if you're the Steelers, I agree with you. You want to ease Kenny Pickett into it. There's no rush. They signed Mitch Trubisky for a reason. It's to be their starter. And I think, right in the beginning at least, I don't think they signed him to be a backup, so to say. But things could change very quickly a few weeks into the season, especially if the Steelers struggle to start out. I mean, going against Cincinnati, it's going to be tough, obviously, Week 1, and then I'm sure we'll break down the rest of the schedule in this episode. But I just think you got to start with Trubisky, let him make some mistakes, let him give you a reason to replace him with Pickett, because right now, obviously Pickett has had a good preseason, and
Great even,
it's
but
a great
still,
preseason, yes. But again, take it with a grain of salt. It's
it's
second
preseason.
and third stringers. He hasn't had the full, at least the 2022-23 Steelers offensive line, which, like you said, it's going to be rough. And I think poor Trubisky is going to have, some semblance of the drawbacks of that. He's going to, I'm sure, be under fire a lot of games this season. So again, let Kenny Pickett develop, let him learn from Trubisky, who's been around for a little bit. We saw what he did in Chicago, and just don't rush his development because it's more important that Kenny Pickett is their quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years. Let's say, throw a number out there, as opposed to his first season where the Steelers are maybe a wild card team at best, but more likely not probably missing the playoffs for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like this team isn't ready to win a Super Bowl yet. And two, another thing I wanted to bring up too was I think one of the reasons a lot of people say well, start Kenny now is he's already 24, 25 years old. He's an older quarterback. And it's like, okay, but he can still give you a good 10, 15-year career if he's a good quarterback. Like 10 years from now, he'll be what, 34?
Yes.
Another 5 years, let me see if I can do my math here. He would be 39. Ben played
Yes.
until he was 39, and I bet you Kenny Pickett's going to take care of his body better than Ben Roethlisberger took care of his body.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Obviously, Ben had a lot more natural talent, but
yeah. I mean, we cannot compare Kenny to Ben, but it's different. Like, football's a different type of sport than like hockey prospects, for example. I know I got my NHL hat on, or even baseball prospects. I mean, like, he's, yes, 24, 25, but if the Steelers can get a hopefully, I mean, we're hoping for greatness. I don't know if we're going to get it, but a good franchise quarterback, maybe he could lead him to maybe one or two Super Bowls during this era. I mean, we're hoping for the absolute ceiling with him, but if they can get a good 10 years out of him, then the pick is a success.
yeah, I mean, let's look at Eli Manning. How many years did he play? Came into the league in 2014, 2004, I should say, and he retired in 2018, I think it was.
It's either 18 or 19. I know it was before COVID.
So he gave you 14 years, and he was bad for the last three, let's say. I could if you told me Kenny Pickett gives you an Eli Manning career, I'm all for it. I'm sorry. I'm taking an Eli Manning career from Kenny Pickett. 2 Super Bowls, very good player, not a Hall of Famer, but very good player.
I mean, we can have a whole discussion. You're probably ticking off millions of Giants fans uh, about Eli
I like
Manning
Eli Manning,
if he's
man.
going to get into the Hall of Fame,
If he
which,
gets into the Hall of Fame, it's the Hall of Very Good, not the Hall of Fame.
well,
We need to have
well,
some. We need to have some standards here.
no, I know, but I think if he, like, the point is, as long as if he could have a career like that, and I mean, the Giants' defense in those teams was obviously great. Michael Strahan and all those, just incredible players. If this Steelers defense, they can keep it like the core together of T.J. Watt, Minka, um, maybe they'll get some more assets as they're going to compete more, and this defense can continue to improve and hopefully improve that freaking secondary, which we've been talking about every episode.
I'm more
Um,
worried about the run defense at this point, man.
yeah, I know Cam Hayward, of course. I forget to say him. I mean, if he can have a good defense, I mean, in skill positions of having Najee Harris, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, all these guys are under contract. This is a team. Who knows? I mean,
Two
right
years,
now
this team might be very good. 2 years, this team might be Super Bowl contenders. Let's be
uh, I
very
mean,
real here.
we hope, but I'm saying in terms of, like, you look at the AFC, this is going to be the prime years of the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. When you got Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, these are guys that this is the windows now are open for them. The Steelers window closed about 2 or 3 years ago when Ben was winding down. That window isn't going to open up again until A, Kenny Pickett is the quarterback, the starting quarterback, and B, when he's maybe a year into his professional development, so to say. And let's say the pieces are still there.
Yeah, like that's why I say in 2, 3, 4 years, I think that's when the Steelers need to strike if they're going to win a Super Bowl. Because obviously the other teams are still going to be here, but Mahomes' contract is going to get worse, so it's going to make it harder for the Chiefs to pay. Burrow's going to have to get paid at some point, which is going to make it harder for the Bengals to keep everyone. And Josh Allen, I believe he just got paid, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, he got a hefty paycheck, and then Lamar Jackson's trying to be the highest paid quarterback ever.
Yeah, so
Which,
he might not even be in the AFC North. There's rumors he might not be there. But my point being that Kenny Pickett's got 5 years before he has to get a contract extension. They'll probably, if he's good, they'll extend him before that. But you get the point. TJ Watt just got paid, and he's still in his prime right now. In 3, 4 years, he'll still be in his prime. Minka Fitzpatrick will still be in his prime at that point. Miles Jack, if he's still here, will still be should still be a pretty good linebacker. Cam Hayward is an interesting piece because he's getting older, right? but he just gets better every single year. So I don't know when the fall off's going to be, but it's just like he gets older and he gets better, which is weird to me.
He like ages like fine wine,
He does, doesn't he?
and he's a player. I mean, at that position, it's different than like a quarterback aging or a receiver aging. I think he'll still be effective until he retires. I mean, he might not be what he is now, and like you said, he gets better as his career progresses. But when he's in the twilight stage of his career, he'll still be probably at least like a 2 or 3 on the Steelers.
At
Like,
least a good run stopper. At least
yeah,
a good
at
run
least a
stopper.
decent run stopper.
Yeah. But even then you got the offensive line. The Steelers are going to fix that up. Let's be honest here. In 3 years, I bet you this offensive line is going to be at least average, at worst average.
That's the key. If they can't fix this offensive
Then
line,
they're screwed. Then they're screwed. The O line is the most important thing they need to fix. Najee Harris is going to be here for another 3 to 4 years, I believe. Pat Fryermuth will probably be here for a while. And then receivers, they've been hitting on receivers constantly recently. And they got Pickens here for a while. And then Deontay, who knows if he'll get another contract. But either way, I'm not really concerned skill position wise. If they could fix up the offensive line and make sure that defensive line, which is getting older, can be rebuilt, that's key for them, in my opinion.
And I think we should also talk about the 2 moves they made recently. What was it, the linebacker position, and they
Malik
traded for a
Reed,
lineman, I know too, right from Seattle.
Malik Reed, and I don't remember who the other guy was. Oh, it was from the Vikings, I think.
Oh, was it the Vikings?
It was the
Yeah, you're
Vikings.
right.
Apparently, he's awful. Like he's gonna be a backup.
Yeah,
But
I heard the linebacker Reed, right? Is his
he's
last name?
good.
I've heard he's like at least average, and they said like he's a depth piece. Obviously, I mean
The
we
third outside linebacker. That's what we needed. And
yeah, like he's not
Omar
T.J.
we trust.
Watt, but like he's a player that can fill in. They
God
said
forbid TJ or Highsmith get hurt. I feel more comfortable going in with him than Tuzar Skipper.
no, I agree, and they said like outs like him lined out alongside of T.J. Watt. He's a guy who could reach 10 sacks. I forgot what tweet I saw that some Steelers reporter, but I think it's a low cost type of move that could help them in the long run. And again, these guys are going to get hurt. I'm sure after week 2. Knock on wood. Hopefully, no one does, but it's football. I'm sure someone in this defense will get hurt, and he's a guy you can kind of plug in. And I'm sure just help with that cohesiveness of the unit.
When was the last time the Steelers had a team that didn't have a key player get hurt?
I mean, you can say about any NFL team though. Like that's just the reality of football. But the
No, the
Steelers,
Bengals last year they didn't have anyone get hurt. Key.
yeah, but then the year before that, their franchise quarterback tore his ACL.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you need luck to win a Super Bowl. You
It,
need to
it
stay healthy. You need to like. I felt like that was a big thing that happened during the Killer B era. Well, obviously the run defense was not. That defense was bad during then, but it just felt like every time someone got hurt. I'm gonna go through the years for you real quick. 2014 when it first started, Le'Veon Bell gets hurt right before the playoffs against the
I mean,
Ravens.
he got hurt multiple times.
Yeah, he got hurt in 2015 too, but he got hurt, and then we had to start Ben Tate off the bench.
Remember that?
If you remember that, 2015, Le'Veon tears his ACL. They make the playoffs. They win a playoff game against the Bengals. Then Ben gets hurt in that game, so he apparently, like people on that team have said that like Ben wasn't using his right arm all week, and then Antonio Brown was concussed from the Vontaze Burfict hit. And the next year, Le'Veon Bell has a hamstring injury in the what was it? The championship game against the Patriots. Remember when he came out because
Yes,
he hurt
you're
his
right.
hamstring there, and then Martavis Bryant was suspended for weed that whole year. And then 2017, you have Shazier. Incredible.
I mean, there were so many parts of those teams, and the one that always sticks in my mind is Le'Veon Bell because he seemed like he got hurt in every big situation, and and like I always think about it, if what would happen if he was a type of player that would just stay healthy during those big moments, and how effective he'd be, and would they end up in the Super Bowl in any of those situations?
The other night, as I was trying to fall asleep, I was thinking, hey, what would have happened if Le'Veon Bell didn't get hurt against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game?
Oh,
Because
I think about that all the time. I mean, there's so many
he
things
was
from
going
that
crazy.
run.
He was breaking records. That postseason, he broke records. I think he had over 200 yards against the Dolphins. He was the
Yeah,
only semblance of offense we had against the Chiefs. The whole game
yeah.
plan was going to be to run him down the throat against the Patriots.
Yeah, I know they were going to repeat it because the passing game wasn't there because it was mainly him. Like he's what Najee Harris I could see becoming. I mean, hopefully not the the
Yeah,
mental side, which we know unfortunately with Bell, but that type of play, like just an absolute, just
bell cow.
bell cow. That's the word I'm looking for. And a big part of that is going to be the Steelers offensive line because Bell's offensive line was much different than the offensive line there is now.
Yeah, and I guess speaking of offensive line, I want to hear something funny. The Steelers have a very strong history at center, as I assume you know. They went from Mike Webster to Dermontti Dawson to basically after Dermontti Dawson there was a few off years. Then they get Marquise Pouncey, and
Remember
then
that?
you know they drafted Kendrick Green to replace him.
Yeah, and it's like you think about the Steelers, quarterback history, the greats that have, I mean, Bradshaw, Ben, and then you talk about those years where you had hits and misses. I mean, better quarterbacks than some teams had in that era. I mean, these guys that still led the Steelers to championships. I mean, we can go down the list of those guys too. But like to go to now Green and just how frustrating it's been to see him struggle compared to how spoiled we were when Pouncey was in the center and the relationship that him and Ben have. I mean,
That
you
offense
gotta hope
was
that maybe they,
incredible,
they could
man.
draft another center maybe next year or in a future draft just so maybe that could be the next, Ben Pouncey, maybe Pickett and insert name here for that young center.
Center is such an important position, and no disrespect to Mason Cole or Kendrick Green in that matter. I mean, Kendrick Green seems like a great guy.
Oh yeah.
Kind of terrible center, but great, possibly a great person.
Oh
But
yeah. I mean, when we talk about players on the show, we're not attacking them as
of course,
people, Joe. It's
but
just
he's just a terrible
he's
center.
just he's just underperformed is probably the best word for it. And it's just
I hope it works out for him though. He gets a lot of stick and obviously warranted. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes you just want to see certain players do well, and he's someone I really do want to see work out for the team.
yeah.
But
I mean, he's got to do well. There's no better way to put it. Like that offensive line I think, is going to cause a lot of issues this year for a lot of players outside of the offensive line. And he's a guy that just has to be serviceable, right?
no,
You
I
think?
think he's not going to be playing this year. Hopefully not.
I
I mean,
mean, yeah, obviously, but like
what
if he
happened to
is,
Dotson? By the way, he was great his first year, and then last year was injuries and did not play that well.
yeah, I mean, the injuries too of the offensive line have always hurt in the past. We know that. Um, I think it's so crucial also that this offensive line needs to get to the average level within 3 years because I'm a kind of scared about where we could see Najee Harris's injury history. I'm kind of getting the vibe from him. Like, I mean, we saw he hurt his foot in the preseason or
Liz Frank, not in the preseason. It was in the first or second day of training camp. He got his
training camp. Like,
Liz Frank injury.
yeah, like did he have to get surgery?
No,
No, but it was
he
something.
sprained it.
He sprained it, but like we cannot, or the Steelers cannot have him getting hurt due to like the inept powers of the offensive
Yeah.
line because he is
I
going to
think
be
he
a
got
guy that would
stepped
be
on in like
getting.
a back on backers drill, if I remember correctly. At least that's
It was something like
that's
that.
what that's what Tomlin said. He could be lying, Tomlin.
He might be lying. You know how Tomlin is, but like he's going to be a guy getting 20 plus carries a game. He's in the passing game obviously too. The Steelers do not have great backup running backs.
Respect Jalen Warren, my friend.
Well, Jalen Warren
He's
but
gonna
come
be
on,
a star.
Benny Snell is just we've talked. I mean,
Oh, what'd you think of them keeping him over Anthony McFarland?
that was surprising. I thought I was like, wow, they cut McFarland. The Steelers cut a couple of players that were kind of just and
So
and
I
uh,
understood the move because what does Anthony McFarland bring to special teams while Benny Snell's really good as the punt protector? And
he's supposed to be good like that, but he's not.
he is.
No, he's not.
He is.
Wow, you're
He's
high on
good at
him.
that. He's not a good running back, but he's good at that.
I mean, it's just. I was thinking about this and I saw some tweets too I think it was the Texans when they released Marlon Mack. I was like, this is a sign from God that the Steelers could have a good split down running back with Najee Harris. Imagine if they signed him. I think he's still out there in free agency or whatever this period is, and like having at least a decent 2 if Najee goes down during the season at any point. Like, are you going to be comfortable with them throwing out Benny Snell and
They're
and,
not going
and
to throw out Benny Snell.
Jalen
They're going to throw
Warren?
out Jalen Warren.
No, I'm
Jalen
saying
Warren
Jalen Warren and
RB2.
Benny Snell as your 2 backs. Are you
Yes.
comfortable with that?
Yes.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Jalen Warren is Maurice Jones-Drew part 2, buddy.
I hope he is, but that's a pretty tall task
taking
to say.
Najee's spot. He's taking Najee's spot, man.
I mean, you're very high on him, and I think he's going to be good. But like, I wish they had gone after one of these. There's a couple other running backs that also were cut by teams. That was just kind of surprising. And I knew the Steelers weren't going to sign him because they already cut
You know who I
McFarland.
want them to go after? Not a running back, but Alex Leatherwood.
I was thinking that too. It can't hurt. The guy was. I mean,
kick the tires on him. Kick the tires if he doesn't
he
work
was
out.
probably a first-round pick. Is he that much worse than any of these guys they're going to trot out?
Worse than Dan Moore? And I love Dan Moore, but is he worse than Dan Moore?
Yeah. No, but I'm saying the Steelers' offensive line, is it that much worse than Alex Leatherwood?
You know what the worst part is? Not even like, okay, they got jumped by the Bears who had a higher waiver wire on the waiver for him. They didn't even put in a claim.
And didn't they say the Raiders went after all 32 teams and no one wanted to trade for him?
Yeah.
The Steelers.
Okay, but I kind of understand that. If you know he's going to get cut, why would you trade for him in that sense?
Yeah, but then like didn't well they traded for the Vikings guy a couple hours before.
Yeah, that is true. He's awful too.
There must be who I heard isn't great.
I know, but there was I think there was weight concerns with him, if I remember correctly, at least going into the draft.
Who, Leatherwood?
Yeah.
That was a Mayock pick, right?
Probably.
No, because that was when Gruden and I'm pretty sure Mayock were in charge of the Raiders, and that was like the big they took the Alabama lineman. What he was like top 20, right?
I remember I thought we were going to take him. I kind of wanted him. Funny enough.
And who do we take?
Najee Harris.
Yeah, thank God we did. Come on.
You know who we should have taken? Creed Humphrey. I'll never get over that. We should have taken Creed Humphrey
over Najee Harris.
Yes.
No.
Center. Running back.
No, but like, come on, Najee Harris is a franchise running back. It's
for how many years? 5 years? 6 years?
Hopefully longer. You hope they can keep the guy. Hope for as long.
I'm saying a center can be your franchise player for like a decade.
I know.
Your running back.
I remember when Najee Harris was the talk of them on the Steelers' radar. I mean, the Dolphins were really close to taking him. I thought.
Really?
Yeah, like they were a team that I know, or I don't know if they were before or after the Steelers in that draft. I'd have to look it up. But I know there were a couple of teams. Was it before?
I knew it was. I remember that Najee said in an interview, he was like, the Steelers told him if he gets to 20, I think that's where we were that year, we were taking him.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I'm sorry. Thank God they picked him. Like,
you know what I really wanted to happen that day? I wanted us to trade up for Justin Fields. Or Trey Lance, but I
no.
Trey Lance.
I'm not big on either of those guys, to be honest.
I think Trey Lance is going to be the best quarterback in the league at some point.
Who?
Trey Lance.
Oh my gosh! Wow, I don't know about that.
He's going to be better than Trevor Lawrence, and I will go to my grave believing that.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to do better this year because Urban Meyer's gone. I mean,
it's not that Trevor Lawrence is going to be bad, John. I just think that.
No, I know, but like his Clemson running back is back. ETN's back. I like Christian Kirk. They have a couple of good depth pieces. I mean, Marvin Jones. Like I could see him balling this year. But
so actually, no, I don't. I can't stand the Jaguars. I can't lie.
They've
given me too much PTSD.
Yeah, from those. That one game, the one playoff game, will always be ingrained in my mind.
The two, man. You know what's so funny? They're the only team to beat us at home twice, like ever.
Yeah. And the stuff with Jalen Ramsey and those teams.
2007. I never forgot. I went to bed. I'm like, "Oh, Dad, did we win?" He's like, "No."
Yeah, that's what me and my dad used to do. I mean, I was 5 in 2007, but those memories still etched in here.
And 2017, my God,
that was embarrassing.
I was there.
You were there?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I was embarrassed to walk around school the next day because everyone knew I was a Steelers fan. That was the only time I was ever like, wow, like I'm gonna get like not harassed, but like the whole day.
I thought we were winning the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I don't know what to tell you guys. They just folded like a napkin.
Not good.
I'm sorry you had to go to that.
I got the flu from it too.
That's the worst. We got like a double whammy from that game.
Yeah. Eh.
But anything else you want to preview before we start? I mean, tell our viewers what the plan is with our show for now. I know you're gonna be taking a little sabbatical.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to get back. What next week? I guess we'll make a video. We're gonna get John's dad on, get him to talk
Yep.
preview for the season, and then I guess actually is next. Wait. The season starts next week.
Is it?
Well, right now it's the
No, I
31st.
thought it's the week of 9/11 because I know that's
Yeah,
the
we're
that's
on
the
nine. We're
Sundays.
playing on 9/11.
Oh, you're right. So yeah, until next Thursday is probably the
Oh my
Rams Bills game.
gosh. So yeah, we'll put out 2 videos next week. We'll put out we'll put out one like we'll record this weekend. Maybe we'll get your dad on, and then maybe around Thursday or Friday we'll get out a video on previewing the Bengals game, and then from there I'm going to Europe, so we might take 2 weeks off and then be back before the Jets game.
Good. I think by then we'll have a good sense. And I mean, that first couple of weeks stretch, we'll know a lot about this team, and it'll be good. By the time we get to the Jet game, we can recap all that, and then we can, maybe Kenny Pickett will be quarterback by then. Who knows? Like
Hey,
a lot can go down.
I might be going to that Jets game, so I might vlog
Yeah,
that. And
you're gonna vlog that. I'll vlog
imagine that's Kenny Pickett's first game.
Or what if the first game is the week after the Bucks game I'm going to?
We're 2 vlogs in a row. Just one of the Jays is going out there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so we'll have 2 vlogs within 2 weeks of the Steelers playing, maybe Joe Flacco of the Jets, and then Steelers playing against Tom Brady, which
Tom Brady looks
I
cooked.
think I know how that game's gonna go. It's gonna be fun. Me and my dad and my brother will be out in Pittsburgh. First time for me since second grade, so I'm excited.
Make sure you send pictures. I want to see. I
I'm
want
gonna
to see.
vlog
I
it.
want to see you go to Permani Brothers. I want to see you at the Point.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to one of Ben's restaurants, I think, when
Ben
we're
has a
there.
restaurant.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I thought that's what my dad was saying.
Hmm. All right. If you
So,
can find the name of that, let me know.
all right. So you can vlog that too. You can vlog like your
Yeah,
Permani
of
Brothers sandwich.
course. Take a big bite of that thing. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. We'll be back soon.